What's up, Internet? My name is David Webb.
I'm Arielle Edwards.
We get nerdy nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
That is right. It is Monday, October 26th, 2020. Mm-hmm. And, I'm not going to lie. It's a light week of news. Light weekend for news.
Yeah, it was a bit of, I don't know, I don't want to say like a struggle, but it was, the news was thin this weekend.
The news was very thin. There wasn't a big new movie.
No.
We didn't have a Love and Monsters like last week.
Yeah.
There's nothing in theaters, so there's no, the box office is very boring. And I would love, look, I'm a huge box office numbers guy. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love talking about how much movie money made, how much money movies made. Talking about box office money right now is really sad because the box office numbers are basically just how slowly is Tenet making less money. Because, there's no other story right now. There's no interesting comparisons to be made. Mm-hmm. You can't be like, well, this compares to last year's weekend, this same weekend last year.
So like last year, there wasn't COVID.
Because last year, there were movies.
Yeah.
I think, was it Chapter 2 this time last year?
Yeah, probably. It's Halloween, and we don't really have like a Halloween movie.
No, I think there's not really one that's certainly broken through the mainstream. I know that there's I've seen ads for something called The Empty Man.
I have not.
Yeah, I watched. I wouldn't show you that trailer.
That's nice of you.
I know, I do care about you sometimes. The Empty Man trailer is fine. I don't know.
Yeah, you're like, that does not entice me to.
There's a trope in horror movies that's just like the something man. And it's like, the No-No Man, the Whisper Man, the Slender Man, the Bubba Man. And they're all like the same concept where it's like, you learn the name, and then it haunts you for a bit, and then it kills you. Coming this October, the Man.
The Boogeyman.
Well, and Rich Alpha Gaming, they're all trying to be the Boogeyman.
Yeah.
And, maybe this movie's great. I don't know. But it definitely just felt a little bit like, okay, seen it.
Yeah. I think they're going to start listing off every single Something Man movies.
I wish they would. You know what? I wish they would.
I want to know how Boogeyman became named the Boogeyman when, like, a boogie is like a dance. You know what? Without looking it up, I'm going to say racism. Without even attempting to look it up, I'm going to assume it has something to do with American racism towards black people. You know what? You're probably right.
I don't want it to be that, but I'm just going to assume.
Yeah.
Because
that movie is old. That's like that whole
the
story
concept of the boogeyman
is old.
Predates, the movie.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah.
Hammond Tater is saying the new Invisible Man movie isn't bad, to be honest. Yeah, I've heard really good things about it. I've heard that I almost said Elizabeth Olsen, but it is not Elizabeth Olsen. It is, oh my god, from Handmaid's Tale. I cannot remember her last name.
It's not the third Olsen?
It is not the third Olsen. No. It is not the most talented Olsen.
Truly.
Elizabeth Moss. Thank you, Rhiannon and Kate. Elizabeth Moss is excellent in that movie, and she's just excellent in everything.
Elizabeth Moss. Help me place her.
Handmaid's Tale. She's the lead in Handmaid's Tale. She also plays the daughter of the president on West Wing in a role that she's really... It's like one of her like breakout roles at the beginning of her career, and she's really, really good. She's also in Mad Men, which neither of us have seen. You've never seen anything Elizabeth Olsen's in? Moss. Oh my god.
Wow.
Here's the thing. I keep saying Elizabeth Olsen because I want to watch WandaVision so bad.
True. We got WandaVision on the brain, guys.
Derived from boggy, a Middle English word meaning something frightening. Oh, okay, I was wrong.
Well, there we go.
I'm glad I'm wrong.
Hammy and Cappy fucking pulling it through with them facts.
You know what? I'm glad I was wrong.
Me too.
I'm disappointed in myself, honestly.
I mean, yeah.
I think
it was not a bad guess.
I recently found out that the word spooky is derived in like a racist past. And so I think that that's kind of where my mind is from, which is which is tough.
Yeah.
Especially considering, like, the proliferation of that word within the Twitch community.
Yeah.
It is interesting to think about. You know, I think whenever I try and, like, look at times of years, Thanksgiving, Halloween, these you know, holidays and these traditions, I am trying to be more mindful as I'm getting more old, that I am paying attention to the roots of some of these ideas and where they come from, and it has been it's a tough journey at times to understand, like, the roots of the language that you're using and how to better speak for your fellow man, and women and non-binary peoples. But I think that's where my mindset was.
Yeah, that's fair. You know, it's nowadays you really never know.
You really don't, and it is weird how. It is weird how much language, not to get too much into it, but it's weird how much of our own language we don't understand where it came from. We just like accept it and use it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really ask questions. Like the one that we learned over the summer with your mom was like grandfather clause.
Oh, yeah.
That one we were like, oh, okay, well, we'll find something new then.
But it is the beginning of Halloween week. We're going to do some very fun Halloween stuff on our channels across here. We have a very cute, creepy, sexy Halloween cosplay coming out on the Patreon on Halloween. And, you know, I'm definitely going to be playing some horror games this week.
Yep.
Clarice will not.
I mean, Subnautica counts.
Subnautica is not a horror game.
You're wrong.
Okay, Subnautica is not a horror game. It is a game that scares you. And those are different things.
Is Subnautica a horror game? Because it's freaking frightening, okay?
You rated into someone after playing Subnautica who said that they had a fear of dark open waters.
Yeah, it's like, I think thalassophobia.
Yeah, and I can't imagine.
No, oh my god. It's already scary enough without that, like, added deep-rooted fear of, like, the ocean. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I did reach my sub goal, which means that on Saturday I will be playing some horror VR.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I don't know what I'm playing yet. Phasmophobia has been suggested, and we'll have to see. I don't really want to spend a lot of money on a game I'm only going to play for like 30 minutes. So it either has to be one that we already have or one that's not going to be too expensive.
So Phasmophobia.
Possibly.
I think if it's Phasmophobia, you might have to do more than 30 minutes. Just because you have to get through the tutorial. And, like, the tutorial can't count as your 30 minutes.
Is the tutorial scary?
Not really.
Because I could do the tutorial off stream.
Yeah. I just think that, like, and you can do the tutorial not in VR.
Yeah.
I just think that, like, the tutorial, the Phasmophobia is a really great game. It really is. I've been enjoying the heck out of it. I played it in VR for the first time last night.
Yeah. And
Phasmophobia in VR is wild. It is so tense and creepy. I thought the game was, the game is good on desktop, but in VR it's a whole other level. And
oh, yay.
No, but it wasn't that it was scary, it's that it's so tense. And, like, the tension is really what's fun about it, is the, like, not knowing.
Yeah.
I just think that the learning curve for that game is it takes a long time to, like, get into it.
Right.
And you could literally spend a half hour trying to figure out how the spirit box works.
Fair enough. Well, you know, if you're going to play it this week, maybe I'll actually, like, watch your streams.
Do it.
And see how this works.
We've been going for a while and we have not yet talked about any news.
True.
Should we get into the news?
Let's do it.
Shang-Chi, the Marvel film starring Simu Liu, who is a wonderful Canadian actor, has wrapped. They have officially ended filming. The majority of their filming taking place in COVID times, if not all of it, actually. I'm not sure when they started it.
Yeah.
But they managed to get through their entire production in Australia without so much as a COVID blip on the news radar. And it gives me a lot of hope, honestly. I was really excited to see Simu Liu's tweet. A very rousing tweet about how excited he is to be in the first all-Asian cast superhero film.
Yeah.
Don't go into the comments on that tweet. Jesus Christ. The people on Twitter are awful. Yeah. But I'm really excited for this film. I think Shang-Chi's a really interesting character. I think diving into the martial arts side of the Marvel Universe, which has always been such a prevalent part of that universe, is really awesome to see. And I can't wait for it. And just to see a movie star, the star of a movie, put out a tweet that's like, I'm so excited for you to see this in theaters in 9 months. It's going to do really well. And I'm like, that kind of optimism is what I need right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I need that positive reinforcement, because right now it's like, oh, that didn't do well. That's had to pause filming. That's been pushed back, and you're just like, oh god. So we need a little more light and positivity, and that's, it's nice to see.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Because he's Canadian.
It probably is because he's Canadian. I do love that Shang-Chi's played by Canadian, and the new Miss Marvel is also Canadian, so we're crushing it as far as casting. Muddles40 in the chat is saying, the people of Manchester seem perplexed about the nature of the lockdown that then is bypassed by the cast and crew currently producing the new Batman film in their streets. Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah. I would be like, wait, what?
I think it's especially fair, and I think it's the difference between Shang-Chi and Batman, right? Because like Shang-Chi managed to film without a single COVID conversation that I heard.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
And now, having said that, Disney has its way to hide things that other companies don't have. But
that's another
as a little red dot just like lands on my forehead. But the Batman, in contrast, has had the Batman get COVID.
Yeah, which means like that something was missed there. Because they were taking precautions.
What do you mean something was missed?
Like, either there was like some kind of slip in their like defenses that they were doing like to try and protect against it, or like what?
Just when you said like some kind of slip in their defenses, I just pictured like them having like armed guards surrounding the set.
No, but like,
and there's like a little COVID burglar that's like trying to sneak in like Mission Impossible style.
No, but here's the thing, like we know what the precautions are to prevent against COVID, and that they can be extremely effective. And so the fact that he got it says to me that either, somebody wasn't taking it seriously, or that there was, there was probably a lapse in judgment somewhere.
Yeah, I would assume that he didn't get it on set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just based on what I've seen, what we've been seeing from these COVID precautions. I mean, we were reading that story. Anthony Mackie was commenting on the COVID precautions on the set of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And it does seem to me like the COVID precautions that these sets have in place are strict.
Yes.
Anthony Mackie was saying that even with masks on, the crew was like getting in the way of people being 6 feet.
Yeah, like somebody would come up to you and be like, move,
yeah.
like
Which I think is, if you're going to be out in the world, you have to do that. Mm-hmm. Look at, the cases in Toronto have spiked up.
Yeah.
And, we're thankfully in a position where we're not going outside.
We get our groceries and shopping done, and
that's essentially it. Like,
yeah.
I was commenting on the fact that we've only filled up our gas tank once this whole month.
Yeah.
Because I drive it maybe once a week.
Yeah.
The car. And so I think that, to see that the COVID precautions on set seem to be very strong.
Yes.
I think what's happening is, in a case like Robert Pattinson, he's bringing it from outside.
Yeah, which means he probably did something stupid.
or he just was like in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know what I mean? I
guess, but like, where would he have picked it up?
Well, but he has to be driven around, like, you know what I mean? Like, in order to get Batman around Liverpool to film their movie.
That's true. It could have been someone on his staff who
Yeah,
exposed him, and that
it could have
totally
literally
fair.
been anything. You know what I mean? It's not.
It's so hard to know.
Yeah, and unless and they might know, they might have contact traced it, and like they just don't want to reveal that publicly because Manchester, not Liverpool. Oh God, I can never go to England now.
You'll be shot.
No. I'll be beaten to death with a cricket bat.
Oh gosh. My grandfather's team is Liverpool.
Oh, interesting.
I think that means that's where he's from.
My team is AFC Wimbledon because nerd fighters. But, to see, like, a production like Shang-Chi manage to get through filming without any big COVID scares that we're aware of.
Yeah.
Finish their movie and, like, life isn't going back to normal yet. In fact, in the States, life is getting kind of crazier with their numbers. But, the fact that some of these things are able to keep moving does bring me a little bit of comfort and a little bit of joy. And, just to see, I need joy. I need positivity right now.
Yeah.
Because it's tough.
Yeah.
We were commenting yesterday about how we're just always in this apartment. And it's fine, because our apartment's nice and we love each other, thankfully. But it's a tough time to not have, like, new things. And to not have, like, new experiences and new people. And
Well, and when I imagined, bringing you to Toronto, I imagined, like, showing you around the spots that I like to go, the, like, places that were memorable for me. And we haven't really been able to do that, I'm like, oh, here's the Eaton Center, and, like, as we drive by, I'm like, I used to work there. But, I haven't taken you to my favorite crepe place yet, my favorite patisserie. We haven't gone to any, like, game stores, really, like, face-to-face games, 401, those kind of businesses. And, like, it's kind of sad. In a way, it honestly, like, some days it doesn't really feel like I'm home in Toronto, especially because this is, like, a new part of the city for myself.
Yeah.
And so, it's, I am also learning the area, even though I have a better general sense of, like, how the city is laid out. So it's, it's just one of those things where it's nice to see something positive, nice to see that new stuff is still coming out and being, like, hopefully successful. The actors behind it are like, we got something good here. And so it's, it's just a matter of hunkering down until we can, till we can get out and about again.
Yeah, and I mean, we're getting out and about in our own ways. We have a photo shoot later today that we're very excited for, and there's things, socially distant things where I'm sure the photographer will be 12 feet away from us with a longer lens.
We're going to be outside. We're literally...
Well, you're going to be freezing, but...
it'll be chilly. But, it's going to be nice, it's going to be work, and it's going to be a chance for us to, drive out and see a little bit more of Ontario, and it's...
Cappy Archer says, I'm stir crazy as heck. Well, here's the thing. If you don't know who Cappy Archer is, he's a very lovely streamer friend of ours. But, Cappy, you also decided to start a Sims 4 playthrough that took place in a bunker during a pandemic. So I feel like you really made this worse on yourself, my friend. I feel like you made a choice there, bud.
Yeah. My aunt is asking, our photo shoot today is out in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. So it'll be a nice little drive. And wait, what? Oh, I was trying to... Wow. Justin just got called out so hard by you.
And on that note, on the flip side of Shang-Chi wrapping up their filming, we have the filming for Spider-Man 3 beginning, which is huge news because I just saw pictures last week of Tom Holland on set for Uncharted.
Yeah.
And so I think Tom Holland might be the busiest person in COVID.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't... Stop.
He really doesn't. He put out that Devil All the Time movie, filmed Uncharted, and now is starting a Spider-Man movie.
I wish I was that busy.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice to be a movie star and to be 22 and
is he
have
22?
abs? I have no idea.
Oh, I was like...
If you told me Tom Holland was 16, I'd be like, yeah, sure. And if you told me Tom Holland was like 30, I'd be like, yeah, sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard to know. It's fine. I'll just...
Yeah. On the backside, oh my gosh, he's 24. That's fine. I only have to go back 4 years and get insanely popular very quickly. Make a bunch of very popular movies, including the largest movie in the world, and then I can have accomplished as much as Tom Holland.
Makes me feel great.
On the just before filming starts on this movie, John Cena tweeted out a photo of Sandman. A picture of Sandman from the comics.
Huh.
Do you think we're going to see a John Cena Sandman in Spider-Man 3.
Oh my god.
He's got the jawline for it. I will say that. Like, if you're going to cast a Sandman, Thomas Hayden Church was the perfect Sandman in the original Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Do you think they do Sandman Spider-Man 3 twice? Because here's the thing. That Spider-Man 3 movie didn't do well.
Woof. Yeah, woof.
It's not beloved.
No, it is not. Here's the thing. Maybe... I don't know if that's what the movie we really need right now. Maybe he's just projecting. You know, maybe John Cena's projecting into the universe. This would be great, and is just hoping that somebody is watching.
Hammond Tater says Sandman was their favorite part of Spider-Man 3, and you're right. Thomas Hayden Church's performance in that movie is excellent.
Yeah.
I just think it's very funny that the casting rumors out of this movie have been that Tom Hardy's going to be in it as Venom. And now we're seeing Sandman, and I'm like, wait, because here's what happened. X-Men did First Class, Dark Phoenix, Apocalypse, and then... X-Men, Days of Futures Past, then Apocalypse. And then they were like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go back, and we're going to do Dark Phoenix again. Even though Dark Phoenix, the third X-Men movie, was a big flop. Was not good. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man is doing so well.
I know, don't ruin it.
And I'm like, are you remaking Spider-Man 3 by putting Venom...
And yet, don't...
And Sandman in it? Are we doing the same movie
They're
again?
like, can we have a do-over? And we're like, just move on.
And this is a movie that also has Jamie Foxx coming back as Electro. I'm like, are you just like, what? I would, you know what?
Wild.
If Kevin Feige was sitting in his office one day and was like, you know what? I'm going to take everything that didn't work in every Spider-Man movie that everyone else made.
And I'm going to make it work.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
I'm going to show them all.
Everyone who laughed at me, I'm going to show them. Like, yeah, I think that's what this is.
What if Kevin Feige built the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe in order to redeem Spider-Man 3? What if that was his whole plan all along?
Oh my god. That's some, like, next level planning.
Truly.
No. No. But I put my foot down for that. That's not... I can't wait to see the pitch meeting.
Sinister Six is a great part of the Spidey universe, says Rhiannon Cates. Yes, and if this is a Sinister Six movie, Rhiannon, I'm so in. I love the idea of Sinister Six. I think that, I think that you can get away with a Sinister Six movie if you don't try to make all of the villains interesting.
There would be too much.
Yeah, it's you have to kind of just let some of the villains live on their own reputation. I think the nice thing about a Sinister Six movie is that you don't have to give Vulture much to do, because Michael Keaton's Vulture really stood out, and, like, we know him. Yeah. You don't need to give him a lot in the movie.
If they already have a reputation, we know.
Jamie Foxx's Electro, like, just put him in a cool costume, give him lightning powers, whatever, right? Sandman, the audiences already know him. I think the only character in that movie that you really have to, like, put some time into would be, like, the Doc Ock of the group. Whoever the mastermind is, give that person the villain arc, and have everyone else be henchmen. And, you know, don't worry about it too much. Especially if you're going to have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Tom Hardy. And it's going to be like Endgame, but it's
Tom
all...
Holland.
No, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's going to be Venom in the movie.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were naming the Spider-Man.
No, I was naming Tom Holland is obviously going to be in the film.
No, fair. I'm
yeah, but Tom Hardy...
Yeah, is also going to... Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, like, look, the idea of Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland, and Venom... 3 Spider-Men and Venom going up against Sinister Six, that is a $4 billion movie. That might be the highest grossing movie of all time. So I'm in. Actually, yeah. I just talked myself into it. That sounds like that's the greatest thing I've ever thought of, and I didn't even think of it. I guarantee you that's something that Nancy thought of.
It's either going to be incredible, or like, oof. And I
disagree. I think that no matter what, the one action sequence where all 10 of those characters are on screen together is going to be great, and I don't care about the rest of the movie.
Yeah, alright. I guess I would pay just to see that scene in theaters.
Yeah.
Alright.
Endgame the Spider-Verse. Yes, Rockmage.
Truly.
Rockmage figured out the title.
Endgame the Spider-Verse.
Endgame the Spider-Verse.
Perfect. It suits it perfectly.
Let's move on to some news that isn't quite as fun or happy.
Dang.
Facebook is really pushing the limits of this Oculus stuff.
They're shooting themselves in the foot.
The news came out over the weekend that, not news, but I guess it's news.
Well, so let's start at the beginning. Okay. That for the Oculus, if you buy the new Quest, you have to sign up with your Facebook account.
Yeah, the Quest 2.
The Quest 2, sorry, yes.
So your Oculus account for the Quest 2 is irrevocably tied to your Facebook account.
Yeah.
And there were people who were buying the Quest 2. The first problem that arose from this was that people didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
The second problem...
What the heck?
The second problem was that people would be created Facebook accounts for their Oculus Quest 2s, and those accounts would be seen as fraudulent, and so they would get shut down.
Yeah. So they would have this device and they couldn't even use it. Yeah.
So they would essentially have a $300 or $400 brick in their apartment. A really, really expensive paperweight.
Yeah.
And now the new problem, as if we didn't have enough problems, is they found out, people found out now that if you delete your Facebook account that is tied to your Oculus Quest 2, you lose everything that you bought in the Oculus account.
Yeah.
So you can't, if you buy a bunch of games in your Oculus account, those games are not tied to your Oculus account. They're tied through your Oculus account to your Facebook, and you only own them so long as you keep that Facebook account.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Guys, come on.
Yeah, I mean, look,
no one from Facebook is ever going to watch this, but come on. Really?
I don't know, Rebel. Rebel, I don't know. And it's a problem that I have with a lot of things, right? We're getting to this point now where digital media, I love digital media, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. It's made my life easier. You know what I mean? Not having to own everything in the real world, living in an apartment, and not having to put a disc in every time I want to play a game, but that it's just on the thing. I love that. But I'm very concerned about the fact that that in this world of digital media, we don't own the things that we buy.
Yep.
Even though we're buying them to own them.
Yeah. And that's what I've always felt sort of weird about when I started using Steam and things like that. Because I was so used to, when I had an Xbox, you buy the game and you have the game and, it's yours. You have it unless someone steals it from you, literally. You own it. And so, the problem is, I don't know, what happens if, your Facebook gets hacked?
Yeah,
you know what
100%.
I mean? And it gets shut down. You lose so much, and that makes me incredibly nervous.
Yeah, and I think you know me with my passwords. I'm a password. I literally nothing. No, I don't have. I have a couple of passwords on accounts for things that don't have my financials tied to them in any way. But if my credit card is on an account, that account has a unique password.
Yeah. And they're nuts, let me tell you. I'm sorry, what is it again? And it's all these... I can't.
But
there's
here's
no
the thing.
way to remember it.
I've had my identity stolen 3 times.
Yeah.
Literally. I've been in positions where I was in states or countries where I didn't have access to my money because someone stole my information. Yeah. One time, I was in Colorado doing Shrek the Musical, and my card got shut down because someone had stolen my information. So I checked my account to see what they bought, and they had paid their gas bill. So on my credit card statement, I had their address. And so I called the FBI fraud whatever line, and I was like, "Hi FBI, my name's David. The person living at this address in Florida stole my information." And they're like, "How do you know?" And I was like, "Because it's on my freaking bill."
Yeah.
And so the FBI just went and arrested the dude.
Yeah, well,
And I was like, "Look, I'm going to get that money back. I have financial protections on my account, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to steal my identity, buy a TV. Buy something nice. Go all out. Don't pay off your $66 gas bill and give me your address."
Yeah.
And they did. They bought other stuff. They didn't only buy that, but they bought a bunch of stuff. But I was like, don't. And I think that person went to jail for committing tax fraud or committing fraud or
identity theft. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, you might have gotten away with this if you hadn't been so dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I can't, like, it...
Good advice. Oh God, now takes notes for when I say days. I promise you, it's almost impossible to steal my identity now.
Yeah, truly. Like, he has, like, a whole list of passwords, and none of them, like, they're so confusing.
And the list of passwords is behind an encrypted...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. But, yeah, so going back to
Facebook.
Oculus and Facebook, I think this is a really bad move. They are going to turn off a lot of people from buying this device. They're going to go elsewhere. I mean, honestly, like, if I had... we knew that we had to link our Facebook to it before, and we talked about it. We're like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Our lives are public. That's not a huge issue for us. But the fact that if something happens to our Facebook, we lose all of our purchases, that makes me very uncomfortable.
Oh, here's the thing. We're not going to buy Oculus games.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend my money there. I'm going to buy them on Steam.
And we knew that going in. So here's the thing. We decided to buy the Oculus Quest 2 because it's the cheapest device.
Yeah.
The Oculus Quest 2 plus the
We're
Oculus
not working right now.
plus the Oculus Link cable costs less than any other VR device.
Yeah.
And it also has the best screen, apparently. We wouldn't know, we haven't tried them. But because we have the Link cable, we can play our Steam VR games. Like, we were playing Skyrim VR last night off Steam.
Yeah.
We were playing Phasmophobia. And so, because of this news, I'm in a position where I would rather buy the games on Steam and not worry about the Oculus crap. Use the Oculus to play the Steam games. Other than a couple, I'll buy Vader Immortal.
You'll buy Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also not, like, I'm not going to delete my Facebook anytime soon.
Yeah, like we use our Facebooks, you know.
For business.
I pretty much exclusively scroll through my Facebook to try to find casting calls.
I pretty much exclusively share Nerdy Nightly stuff on my Facebook page.
That too. I share Nerdy Nightly stuff. And I apply for jobs. Like,
I use Facebook to promote Nerdy Nightly and to like share like things telling people to vote.
Yeah.
That's it.
The important stuff.
Muddles is like, I'm honestly not surprised that Facebook has mismanaged this. And you know what, Muddles?
Same.
A social media company maybe doesn't know how to run a gaming device. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do. I don't know.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see how this does, because honestly, I think a lot of people are going to seriously reconsider. Or they're going to do what we do and be like, well, I already have this, so I'm going to just use Steam.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, there's an interesting conversation, right, around the idea of digital media. Because I was having a conversation with a friend, and he was like, I love disc games more than I love digital media. And I was like, but you buy all digital media. He's like, yeah, because discs stop working. Like, discs, physical media only lasts as long as the physical media works.
Yeah.
But and it's interesting, right? Because I've been playing Diablo 2 lately, and I downloaded Diablo 2 because I have a code on my Blizzard account that says that for perpetuity, as long as Blizzard is running, I can keep playing that game.
Yeah.
And so I am playing Diablo 2 on my computer long past my Diablo 2 physical media's existence.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool of Blizzard to allow people who have ever owned it in physical media to own it online forever.
100%.
It's really awesome that by registering my Diablo 2 with Blizzard, I can download it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Well, as long as their servers or whatever are working. Mm-hmm. And the Diablo 2 online servers are still working. For those of you who don't know, I didn't know. It's great. I'm having a lot of fun. Tommy Tsunami and I are about to do a playthrough on Twitch. It's going to be great. So there is something to be said for the fact that, like, with digital media, the physical health of your physical thing doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And there's something to that. The number of games I've broken.
Or scratched.
Yeah. Or lost.
Yeah.
Or had stolen. You know what I mean? Like, I had a game... My first Game Boy was stolen. From the pool. It was in my bag, and my bag got stolen when I was a kid, and I was very sad, because that was my original copy of Pokemon Red. And it was at a time when you could just go to a store and buy another copy of Pokemon Red and a Game Boy, and I worked and saved up for it, but nowadays if my Nintendo Switch got stolen, I would have to buy another Nintendo Switch. But there's like 40 games in my Nintendo account that I can just download immediately.
Yeah, 100%.
And so, the arguments for both sides are so tricky.
Yeah, it's tough. I think, here's the thing. There needs to be some kind of safety net. For cases like people losing all the games that they paid for because their Facebook account was deleted or hacked or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't... That's how they're going to get people to trust them. And right now they are not. They are just not.
Sorry, 1 second. The Dark Dispatch in the chat says, thieves broke in and stole one of Ariel's VeggieTales videos when she was 5. She was very upset.
I was. It was in the VCR player, and I was furious.
They stole the VCR.
They stole the VCR and my...
I would love it if they left the machine, just stole the video out of it.
Yeah, no, I was not happy. I used to love VeggieTales.
Rockmage says the perfect mix is discs which you register for infinite access. And you know what? My pushback against that is purely just that discs are obsolete now. Because here's the thing. I buy this physical media. I do. Like, I'll buy the disc. I have the disc for, Horizon Zero Dawn right there.
We're gonna get the Lord of the Rings on Blu-ray when it comes out. Like, the
movies are different, though.
Okay, fair.
You know what I mean? Like, the size of movies, like, you can put the whole movie on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So that disc is running that Blu-ray, it looks perfect on the television.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
When I plug in that Horizon Zero Dawn into my PlayStation, I put the disc in, and I'm not playing the game. I'm sitting there watching the game download, because the disc can't possibly hold the game, and the disc doesn't have a fast enough write speed. Like, the CD that you're putting in doesn't have as fast a write speed as your SSD.
Yeah.
And so you're just... If we were relying on discs for our media... Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the new one, would be like 17 discs long.
Yeah. And
you'd have to put in a different disc for every single level.
Well, and Miller says that his gaming laptop has no disc drive, which, that's the way... My laptop does not have a disc drive. I don't
We
think
have 3 laptops, and not one of them has a disc drive.
That's kind of... we are moving past that. And I think maybe... the way that, the Switch is doing it with the little cartridges instead, and having a reader plug in through USB-C like a memory card does would be interesting. But I honestly would feel much more comfortable if I had something physical.
Yeah.
And I think it's more that comfort level, because you're right. You can't expect to be put a whole game, especially by today's standard, on a disc. And no one is really using it anymore. Yeah.
There just isn't a way for that to function.
Yeah.
You can't... And in a way, you do have your physical disc. Your SSD is your disk drive. Is your disc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's tough, right? Like, if Steam as a service were to go down forever, if the company were to close, we would lose all those games. We just would. You don't have access to them.
Yep.
But at the same time, I love that I don't have to have all of my games downloaded, and I can, uninstall them and reinstall them, and
it is very useful. That's so that's like how banks work, right? Like if TD were just to not exist, you'd lose all your money, right?
No,
never mind.
I mean,
that's a scary thought.
No, there would be a process for it to shut down, though. It wouldn't just disappear tomorrow.
Okay. It's
just because of federal regulations.
Yeah.
There would be a sell-off process, and then your account would be bought by another bank. It would.
I would hope that there's something like that for Steam, because now I'm wow, that's a lot of money that could just disappear because I don't have anything. I can't touch it. It's all numbers on the computer.
Yeah, and you can't even open those games without having Steam installed. Yeah. Even if you install the games, you can't when you hit when I opened Knights of the Republic yesterday on my Twitch, I opened the Knights of the Republic and then it goes Steam first.
Yeah.
And then Steam opens the game.
Yes.
And so we are getting into this world where we are getting into a world where like we're gonna have almost no physical media.
Yeah. Which, is good for minimalists to not, clutter up the apartment.
Yeah. Good for people like us who just don't have space.
Yeah. But it does make me nervous.
Yeah.
That is the thing. It does make me nervous because I feel like I don't really have control or a say, if something were to happen.
Yeah.
And that's a tough conversation to have. I think Facebook is fucking up hard. And, they need to get their shit together. Cause,
what else is new?
Yeah. Truly, what else is new? Facebook is becoming so dated. I wish I didn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
But I get most of my modeling jobs through Facebook. Like, I would say like 90% of them I find through Facebook. And that's the main reason I have it. And also to share our stuff.
And also, it's like the only way to connect with a lot of family. Like Facebook, sure. I connect with my friends on Instagram and Twitch and Twitter, but I connect with like my aunts and uncles and grandparents on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so and obviously like as we age out of Facebook, I think that'll become less and less.
Yeah.
But for now, that's like the one social media that my like extended family is comfortable using.
Yeah.
And so I have to stick with it for that. I don't really want to lose that connection to my aunts and uncles, especially my aunts and uncles, because I have a Canadian phone number now. Yeah. Like I can't like text my grandfather, but I can Facebook message him.
Yeah.
And so it just becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah.
We have Fantaxia in the chat. She has arrived, the Dova Queen of Twitch. And that just means it's a good time to remind you all that this Friday night, we're going to be playing some D&D with Fantaxia and our fellow friend Cappy Archer, who I believe is also still here, and the Playmat, who has been in the chat throughout this conversation. Mm-hmm. We're going to be playing a one-shot D&D campaign about a family going on a Halloween-themed road trip.
Yeah.
It's going to be very fun. I'm very excited to explore being a father again. I've played a father in a few things. So I'm excited to really find my inner dad again and embarrass the shit out of Fanta for 4 to 5 hours. Yeah,
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time. I'm excited to find my inner Xena warrior princess.
Yes.
I think it's gonna be a good time. Just lovely. It's gonna be fun. We are very, very stoked.
If you want to catch that campaign, that is this Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Over on the Playmat's channel. If we have any models, if you could throw a shout out to the Playmat, just so that they can find that channel if they'd like to give a follow and catch that show on Friday night. We're very excited.
Yeah.
I've never played D&D 5e.
Yeah. This is gonna be interesting. It's like, here's the thing. The way that I know we play is definitely more focused on role-playing and character stuff. The rules and stuff is what we'll go over so that you kind of know how it all works. But it's gonna be mostly about creativity and, Matt, can I do blank? It's fun. 5e is nicely streamlined for accessibility.
Yeah, I played 3 a lot in high school with my friends. And then never touched 4. And then been too busy, I haven't really been in one place for a long time to do a campaign. So this is very exciting for me.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love the concept of, or not the concept, sorry. I love the resurgence of pen and paper games.
Yeah.
I feel like in the last few years, and I know it's partially because of like Critical Role and things like that, Dungeons and Daddies, this like new wave of D&D podcasts.
Yeah.
There's been this really like huge resurgence of tabletop gaming and pen and paper gaming, and I'm really loving that. There was this huge peak of video games for a long time, because they just kept getting better and better and better and better and better, and I feel like we've hit a plateau for video games a little bit.
Yeah. Like
the graphics are getting better, but not so much that like it's life-changing.
Yeah.
It's just more fun, it's more immersive. And I feel like the social reaction to this sort of plateauing of video games has been either VR or splitting off into going back to D&D, or to like D&D and to like these like theater of the mind things.
Totally.
And aside from like the cost of the books, I think D&D is a really like accessible way to game.
Yeah, I mean, you can even find like if you don't want to purchase like the physical books, like D&D Beyond has a lot of the material there that you can explore. And you know, some of it is behind a paywall because they have to make their money. And it's, you know, it's a complicated thing that a lot of people have put a lot of time and effort into.
Well, and the site is gorgeous.
Oh, just yeah, like it's...
Playing around with D&D Beyond to create my character for this campaign, I'm like, holy crap, this site is well made. Yeah,
it's very, very well done. I wish we had a printer because I always love having the physical character sheet if I can. But unfortunately, we do not have that. So we'll probably be just using... D&D Beyond, but plug for D&D Beyond.
I'm excited to try. I'm excited to try having my character sheet on my iPad.
I think that'll be nice. When I had not this laptop, but I used to have a laptop that flipped all the way around into a tablet, which was really nice to use. I do kind of miss that. But the iPad should work great. It's not the physical paper, but it's more like that than having. I just don't like, it's hard when I feel like people are like on the internet doing other things sometimes and like have a thing in front of their face. I like it's when we're playing in person anyways, which we unfortunately won't be because COVID and, you know, we're going to be streaming it online. But I love when I'm sitting at a table and there's no like screens or barriers in front of anyone except the DM. You know, I love when it's just the table and, you know, an iPad or like a piece of paper or something.
Yeah.
I think it just opens up the room and lets you connect with your fellow party members.
Which is what it's about, right? Like, I mean, D&D, so many of these games are really about, I don't want to be cheesy, but like they're about friendship. And they're about, you know, I think there's to go to this recent rise in D&D, I think a part of that was Stranger Things. I think Stranger Things introduced, there's a lot of like, I would say like 13 to 20-year-olds who have never played D&D and probably had never really heard about D&D other than like jokes about D&D before Stranger Things.
But now they know what it is.
And now they're into it. I see a lot of young girls on like TikTok who are very into D&D because of Stranger Things. And I think that's the power of Stranger Things, first of all. I think it's I love it. I think it's an excellent show. But I think it's also the power of like media that shows people being friends. Yeah. And then people in real life be like, oh, I want to be friends like that. Yeah. And then you realize that something like D&D really is the best way to like connect with people. There was a study I was reading recently saying that friendship happens when you spend 30 to 50 hours with someone. And that like that amount, and they were trying to figure out why adults had a harder time making friends than teenagers. And so they were saying like it's so easy for people in school to become friends with people because you are forced to spend the number of hours it takes to become real friends with someone together. And adults have a hard time putting that time in, finding that time. And so for something like D&D that puts you at a table for 10 hours sometimes, or, you know, longer.
Hopefully.
If not 16 hours. You know, that kind of in-person connection to another human is hard to find. It's impossible to find online, but it's hard to find in any setting. And I think it's really interesting to see these things come back. And I would love to see more D&D. I would love to see, you know, I know there's a million D&D podcasts out there, and we might have one coming out next year, but...
Ooh, spoiler alert.
That's not a spoiler. We've talked about it in like 19 streams.
I know.
I love it. I really love, I love these like interconnected, interpersonal games having a comeback. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I love even going back to like the board game structure with people. And I think that having that is really exciting. And I'm excited that like D&D is becoming more mainstream, because I only started a few years ago, even though it was something I kind of had always wanted to do. But then I met other people who also wanted to play, and we were like, okay, great, we're gonna do it. We're gonna figure this out and learn how to do it. And, you know, made some great friendships. And probably like a big component of that is D&D.
Yeah. We have one last story that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because not only is it the beginning of Halloween week, but it is also beginning of Mandalorian week. Season 2 of Boca Pirates loves your red lipstick.
Thank you.
You went for it today.
I did.
You were like, I'm gonna be hot. And I am allowed to say that because she's my wife.
I just, wanted to try something new.
No trailer today, Muddles. No, but the Mandalorian is coming out on Friday. So if you have Disney Plus, you will be able to catch here in North America. I don't know how people around the world watch it, but you'll be able to watch it on Friday. And they have told us that they are not putting out screeners to the press.
Yeah.
No one gets to see season 2 of The Mandalorian before season 2 happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Normally, people would be, normally they would send out the episode for critics to review and to build up hype and that kind of thing, but Disney doesn't need that.
Typically, a season of television sends out the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Honestly, they send out more episodes depending on the length of the season.
Fair enough.
I know that I think for The Boys season 1 they sent out the first 4, so they sent out half the season to critics.
Yeah. And
Rockmage says there's not needed. The hype is self-sustaining.
Well, exactly. They don't. Yeah. They really don't need to do any work. They would rather the internet remain spoiler free than try and hype it up. And they really don't need to. I totally understand their thought process here. And
I think that it's earned.
Yeah.
I think Game of Thrones did the same thing with the final season. They did not send out screeners for the episodes.
They probably knew how terrible it was.
Nope, that's not what they were thinking, but sure. Clarice is still salty.
I mean, I don't know. All the actors thought it was terrible, so someone on that production must have also...
Clarice is really salty about everything. No, but Mandalorian, let's stay positive. Let's stay... Come on. Dracarys. The Hero of Wind says that's either really cool or really worrying. I think it's kind of a nothing story. I think that, critics are losing their minds, right?
Yeah.
I think this is more a bad story for critics than it is any indication of the show.
Yeah.
Just because look at season 1, the fact that they kept Baby Yoda a secret for season 1 is a lot of why it was successful, I think.
Yeah.
It was a surprise. It was a delightful surprise, and now he's part of our show. Look at this little guy. Look at him. He's so cute. But on the flip side of that, this show is literally doing the most business ever.
Cheers, models.
Cheers, models. The show is the most popular streaming show. Yeah. They know they've got the numbers. So if you're not worried about numbers, why give the press a chance to spoil anything?
Yeah, 100%.
On the flip side of that, if you're a reviewer, if you're a critic who hasn't had movies for months to review, whose YouTube channel or website is really struggling to pull in views right now because there isn't enough content. Look at us talking about what news are we going to talk about? Not getting access to these screeners is a huge blow to your numbers because it means that you can't put your video up before before the audience has seen it. People aren't tuning in to find out if they should watch it. They're maybe tuning in after they've already watched it to see if they agree with you.
Yeah.
And I understand why for the audience or for the critics and for the the YouTube community of reviewers, this news is not great this year.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of people being like, damn it, I was really hoping that I could put out my 5 million view review for that and make a little bit of money to pay rent this month. And this is definitely gonna push back on that. On the flip side, Disney's very interested in the show doing well and not as much in YouTubers making money off of them. Yeah. So it's tough, right? It's tough. It's tough to make the argument against Disney in this case, but I'm excited for the season. Friday. Yeah. Friday. It's so soon.
It kind of snuck up on me, I'm not going to lie. I was like, "Oh, wait a second. That's this week."
I want to watch it too, but I kind of wish it was next Friday. I want to get through Halloween. Everything is with Halloween being on Saturday, everything is heading towards Halloween. Yeah. And I'm just kind of in a mindset where I'm like, I don't have room for another thing this week.
I know. We're probably going to have to watch it on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, just with our schedule.
Well, no, we'll watch it Friday night.
After D&D?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, we'll watch it Friday.
I'm down.
Because we have to talk about it Monday. Next Monday is going to be Mimosa Monday morning.
Mimosa Monday!
Y'all, I think that's where we're going to call it for the show today.
Yeah.
That's everything we wanted to talk about. We just wanted to spend some time with y'all this morning, like we do every morning. Mm-hmm. We are going to say goodbye, but we have some things to plug, mostly us. The Nerdy Nightly. We'll be back every morning this week at 10 a.m. Eastern, doing more nightly morning shows. But we're also going to be doing a very special nightly morning show next Monday.
Yes.
Mimosa Monday morning. Mimosa
Monday. So we have a really exciting announcement for you guys that we're going to drop on